Hey guys, so I'm really questioning Endgame now. I'm having some thoughts. And the previous video that I had talking about the movie, my first initial thoughts were the movie was good, and but I said like I'm not in love and crazy with the movie. Like the movie, as soon as I got out of the theater, my friend Grant was asking me when we went to Wendy's to kind of eat. And I ate just a whole bag of popcorn and ate some Chinese food even before that, and we ate food after that. So he was asking me like, what have I thought of the movie? I thought, well, I sighed and said, I'm gonna have to watch it again. And someone said, oh, have to, or want to, or need to. So, do I want to? I don't know. For me, I really like Shazam 10 times more than this movie. There's so many plot holes in Endgame. Like, okay, I'm gonna go into some spoilers right now, so beware. Like a lot of things I did not have. There's a lot of things I did not like the way they were in this direction of this movie, and I'll tell you them right now. I did not like how they portrayed Hulk. I think the Russo brothers have a problem with Hulk, or they don't like the Hulk, or they are not interested in the Hulk, or they don't like that character, the Hulk. I would like to see the Hulk be a part of the Avengers like engagement. And like in Infinity War, he had a fight with Thanos for like 30 seconds or 15 seconds, and then lost. And then the entire movie, he's like, no, and then he was just a laughing stock because he was saying no. Hulk was saying no because Hulk didn't want to be the reason for Banner's problems to get out of. It's really confusing. This movie is even more confusing. I liked Infinity War. This, I'm like, some of the things that they were going direction wise, it's like, what? I kept looking at the side. I kept asking my friend Grant what is happening. Some of the things I'm like, what? What happened? And I'm there watching the movie. So, and I saw the whole thing. I didn't get up for a bathroom break. My friend Grant left probably about one part in like the first half. I mean, you can't not leave. You got to see this movie as it is. And John Campea has said before on his streams that with Marvel, there's no consequences. They could kill somebody and bring them back. And they undo what Thanos did. Basically, Ant-Man comes back 5 years after the snap happened. I mean, they go into 5 years later after that. The first bit of the movie, the first 15 minutes, Captain Marvel, Marvel's Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel is actually Shazam. I should call him Captain Marvel, but some really confusing stuff there that happened, and they had to change Captain Marvel into Shazam in 2011. So, yeah. But, so Tony and Nebula are on the ship, and then Captain Marvel, or she should actually be called Miss Marvel, Ms. Marvel, because she also has that name too. So they don't have any scene, I think, the end credit scene of Captain Marvel, where it's just like, where is Nick Fury? So then they just cut like that. So they probably say, well, you gotta go find Tony. So she comes and she just lifts the ship and then takes them down into the Avengers facility, the Avengers mansion, the Avengers building. And then Tony is just like so skinny, hadn't ate for days, and he's calling Captain America a traitor and is still not happy with what happened in Civil War, and because they've been on non-talking terms since then, and he's like, I lost the kid, and talking about Spider-Man, he lost him, and I couldn't fight Thanos. And it's like, I couldn't either. And then he collapses, and then that's when War Machine and Rocket, Captain Marvel, Thor, Captain America, they all go into, and Nebula too, they all go into find Thanos, and Thanos is just in the garden, and he's kind of burnt what happened at the end of Infinity War. The gauntlet took its toll on him, but they didn't show that at the end of Infinity War. They showed him just sitting down and just like he wasn't burnt. He was just looking out into the garden, and he just did what he wanted to do, and he was just going to relax. He did what he wanted to do. So they figured out that he was using the gauntlet again, the stones again, and they were seeing him on this planet, and that they knew where he was because Nebula told them where he was, and I guess they figured out where he was and had the whole hologram of what he was doing on the planet, and figured out like, oh, he's using the stones again. I did like how they used Hulk. They kind of like he was Hulk, but he was talking like Banner, and he was Bruce Banner. So it was kind of a combination of both of them. I don't like how the quantum realm becomes like a time machine. It's not supposed to be a time machine. But the end credit of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, says, don't get stuck in a time vortex, because we won't be able to bring you out and you'll get stuck. And that's when they get dusted. But there's no consequences when it comes to Marvel. They'll kill somebody off and then they'll bring them back again. That's a great thing about the Dark Knight trilogy is, take it as you will, I actually think that Batman died, but Bruce Wayne was still alive. Like, the alter ego of him died when he took that bomb out into the open, and he put the thing on autopilot, and then he went to go live his life, and then he saw Alfred in France or something, and sitting around with Selena Kyle, and then they saw each other. I don't think that was a dream. I think that was actually a thing. And then John Blake goes up there in the Batcave and becomes probably the new Batman or Nightwing. So, in a way, that's up for interpretation, but I still believe that Batman lived. I mean, Bruce Wayne lived, but in a way, Batman died. Batman died, and Bruce Wayne was alive, but he killed Batman in a way, because Batman was no more. He went to go do other things, and that was just it. But Loki has died numerous times, 3 times, and maybe he's still not dead, because there's the whole flashback saying they all go back into previous movies like the Avengers in 2012, first Guardians movie in 2014, Thor: The Dark World in 2013. And they get these Pym particles, they get these kind of things that go into the quantum realm, and Ant-Man comes out with the rat. There's a rat that goes across onto the machine and makes it so Ant-Man comes back and turns on the quantum realm thing, and he gets out of the van and realizes it's 5 years later, and he's looking around and things are different, and he sees his daughter, and his daughter's like a teenager or a young adult now, and it's like, wow, he's not aged. So, and to him, 5 years felt like 5 seconds or a day in the quantum realm, and he's like, well, time is is kind of different, and the quantum realm is really different. So what if we go back to the time before Thanos got the stones, and then yada 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 yada. So my feelings have changed a little bit with it. I never walked out of the theater being like, I was really surprised with some of the directions they went to. Iron Man died in it. In the comics, Captain America was the one that sacrificed himself and died. But they switched it this one. And I didn't like how the director Joe Russo was in the whole group scene and did his little cameo with his glasses and was in the whole group thing of having therapy, because he actually was in Civil War and he played a little tiny cameo where he was in the bathtub and died, and that was Joe Russo. One of the directors, Joe and Anthony Russo, directed this movie too. And they said they're done doing these types for Marvel. You know, if they come back for a movie, I'm sure they'll come back for Secret Wars. But man, was this... I don't know. I'm debating whether to see this movie a second time on Tuesday, because it is Cheat Tuesday. I'll get in and use the last bit of my $21 and see. Or just see Shazam a third time, or save my money towards something else. I'm somewhat disappointed in this movie because I don't know, the last half of the movie is probably the best half of the movie. I really like Happy Hogan in this movie. He wasn't in it a lot. He was in it towards the end and the whole funeral scene. So Hulk, they end up getting the stones. Black Widow dies. She sacrifices herself for the Soul Stone, and you get the whole thing with Red Skull going like, "Oh, you have to sacrifice somebody you love for the Soul Stone," and yada yada yada. But yeah, we all know that. So she dies. They get the Soul Stone, and as far as I know, she's not come back. Gamora's dead too, but the Gamora in 2014, she gets a ride back with the Nebula we know in the future. And the younger Thanos, that looks like the same Thanos, but because the Thanos actually had in just the end credit scenes where he kind of looked kind of like glowy blue eyes and stuff, and look a little different now. So, oh man, I don't know. I like both Captain Marvel. Sorry, not Captain Marvel. I like Marvel and DC. But there's a lot of Marvel characters that are just ripoffs off DC characters, like Iron Man. You know, it's basically like ripoff off Batman with the whole philanthropist, billionaire thing. I really, really like Batman. And I really like Spider-Man, because I think Spider-Man is probably one of the original characters, if you ask me, for Marvel. Everybody else is a ripoff. Captain America is basically ripoff off Superman, the whole patriotic thing. List goes on. Ant-Man is basically the Atom from DC. Vision is basically Red Tornado. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on. So, and I'm sure DC has, you know, I don't really think DC has done a lot of ripoff from Marvel, honestly. DC has different tones and different approaches of how they're doing their movies, and they're rushing things a lot. But man, Shazam, I had the most fun I've ever had in my life with that movie. I can't speak the same for Endgame. I don't know. Should I see it a second time, or should I not see any of them? Or should I see Shazam a third time? I was even saying to my friend Grant, I'm like, Thor's looking a little bit like Aquaman. And it's just kind of hurting my head thinking about this. So what's going to happen now in Spider-Man Far From Home when that comes back? Are they going to start just after Endgame, and there's still going to be no consequences and what have you? So Hulk is the one that snaps his fingers and they get the gems again, but they also get another gauntlet that Iron Man uses, and Hulk is the one that undoes the dusting of people, so everyone comes back. He tries to get Scarlett Johansson. People saying Scarlet Witch, no, Black Widow. People say oh no, Scarlet Witch died. No, they're getting confused because Scarlett Johansson, so they're getting confused with the whole name thing. So Thor. I'm getting mixed up on words here. So Hulk undoes the dusting of the people, but then so they cut off Thanos' head. The first thing is just like, what did you do? I'm like, I went for the head. So Thor cuts off Thanos' head in the first bit of the movie. I'm like, the first time seeing that, I'm like, okay, so what are they gonna do for the rest of the movie? Honestly, what are they gonna do? They killed Thanos for the first half of the movie. I read something that Thanos kills Thor and Captain Marvel. I read something that Captain Marvel and Thor go and see Thanos, and then he just kills them right off the bat. But that didn't happen. That doesn't happen. They go into Benatar and they go off into Titan 2 or whatever it is, and they just kill him right then and there. And it's like we saw using the stones. It was like I used the stones to destroy the stones. So basically, you can't undo what I did. So I didn't like how the whole quantum realm is whole this time machine. Like, how is it a time machine? How is a quantum realm time machine? Like, you just go into different realms, but time? How does that fit in? There's a lot of plot holes too. And even how Loki went away too when they went the flashback, like he took the Tesseract and he just vanished. So is he there? Is he back there? Captain America was going to place all the stones back to where they were at the end, and then ended up coming back as old Captain America and giving the shield to Sam Wilson, Falcon. It should have went to Bucky, because Bucky was the other Captain America in the comics. But as movie wise, narratively, that wouldn't work. It was really sad seeing Spider-Man saying to Tony, like, we won, Tony, and he wasn't responding. He was like, yeah. So I really hope they don't bring him back in future movies and just screw up with everything again. It's just like, well, so what emotionally is that going to do to you? You're just not going to care anymore. And I guess Thor is going to be part of the Guardians of the Galaxy because he doesn't know what he's going to do. And Valkyrie came back with their big, what do you call it, horse angel thing. And everyone was in battle. Except, like, I wish they did more with Hulk. I wish Edward Norton was Hulk too, because I think Edward Norton was probably the best Hulk. I actually liked. Well, I don't know really. I liked Mark Ruffalo in the role of what he was doing, what he was given to be Professor Hulk. But the whole laughingstock was just Thor. I mean, the last one was just laughingstock with Hulk too in the last movie. So a lot of problems they have, a lot of plot holes, a lot of confusion with the whole time gap and the stuff they do at the time. Iron Man goes back to the 1970s to retrieve the Tesseract, and he meets his dad, and he has a scene with him there too. And the scene was kind of confusing too with the whole Stan Lee cameo. I think he said, fight war with love, not guns, or something. I can't remember, but it was. I kept looking over to my friend Grant and being like, what, like, what? I don't know, I was like kind of confused. So I'm confused whether or not I should see it a second time, Endgame, and see if I do get something out of it. Man, that got to me though. Some of the things, like the whole Iron Man dying, but like really got to me. And Happy Hogan when he's sitting down on the couch with his son or his daughter Morgan, Iron Man's daughter Morgan. And she's saying that she's hungry and she wants cheeseburgers, and it's just like, you know, your dad liked cheeseburgers. I'll get you all the cheeseburgers you want. And that was like, wow, that was pretty emotional too. And the whole funeral scene, I think there's actually that kid from Iron Man 3 that's grown up now. I'm like, who's that? Someone says, is that Quicksilver? No, that's that kid from Iron Man 3. People suspect that that's probably him. You hear him dinging away, but no, there's no end credit scene with Avengers Endgame. But at the very end, you hear a bit of Iron Man making the Mark I suit in the cave. You just hear metal clashing on an anvil, making that suit. I don't know what you guys thought of it, and hopefully you watch this video and let me know what you think, if I should see it or go see Shazam a third time before it gets out of theaters, or save my money towards other things. But what am I going to do? Just sit here forever? Rocket was quite good there too. I like his kind of thing. He's just burning people, like giving them shit and stuff, and saying a lot of the different things. Like you said to Ant-Man, he's like, hey, you want to go to space? You want to go to space, puppy? You want to go to space? Okay, I'll take you to space. Just treating them just like, just like how he's treated. Call him Rabbit all the time. A lot of plot holes. It hurts my head thinking about it. Shazam though spoke to me a little bit more. I think that's where DC has the upper hand. To have better TV shows and animated shows than Marvel does. Marvel, I don't know, they have a lot of characters that are rip-off from DC. I don't favor one or the other, like I said. Batman and Spider-Man are one of my faves. It's always between those two. I mean, if I was a superhero, I would definitely be Batman. Who wouldn't want to have a Batmobile and a butler basically being your father figure who's giving you all these different stuff, and Wayne Manor and all these hot toys and different stuff? That'd be great. I think it would be a lot harder to be Spider-Man, just with all those problems you have, and yeah. So I don't know what else to say other than it was average. I think it was good, but it wasn't. It's definitely not on my top list of MCU movies. And conclusion-wise, I guess it was okay. But then again, I still don't know. And I'm going to be doing a top or worst to best, in my opinion, ranking the 3 Days Grace songs that mean the most to me. And I'll be doing that, and then probably the next video, I'll probably be doing that within the next day or two. I'll be doing that. I'll be working on a video like that. Yeah, so I've freed up enough stories to talk about my little spiel on Endgame, and that, yeah, my feelings have changed. It was good, but I didn't think it was so good. Like I said, I didn't come out of the movie just being like, wow, that was just, I was awestruck by it. My life was changed. I mean, I like Shazam so much that I bought a comic book from it. So, anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making a video on those 3 Days Grace songs, and all the 3 Days Grace songs, and narrowing it down to all the ones that hit me the most. So anyways, till next time.